chamber.
Echo.
No
Echo.
chamber.
Echo. I feel like we should all just echo each other.
Is that what we're doing here? All right.
Yep.
This is the session.
No, I'm out.
You're out?
No, just about the echo. Sorry.
Oh. This is the session in which we talk about last week's session, right? So, anybody want to get us started off before we jump into some stats? Anything jump out at you other than Mordai's decision to just cause chaos?
I'll tell you, once in a while I like being a player. I'll still take a DM anytime, but once in a while it's just nice to be a player.
So you two have.
It is.
Go ahead, Eric.
That died. That's on.
It's. I was just gonna say. It's hilarious to me when you have a player that purposely causes havoc. I mean, not detrimental havoc, you know, just like that just superficial havoc, just enough to cause a little bit of annoyance to the other players. And that scene cracked me. I was rewatching it and was cracking me up because, well, it was tough because I was playing Cleek's character, and so I'm thinking in him, all right, he's seeing Mordai do all this stuff. What the hell? He's just going to try to grapple him, and then to see Barry going around and just crushing all these little figurines just so that Mordai doesn't pick them up. It was cracking me up.
I was like, all right, he's going to go around to everything. I just have to smash him. I have to do it.
I was trying to open the door or whatever. I suppose Mordai didn't know what were the purpose of them were. It had to be something. So trial and error.
Yeah.
So quick question about that. You guys obviously DM both sessions. Do you ever feel like as Garrett is DMing session 1, Eric is like doing something knowing, if he fucks me over here, wait till I DM. You know what I mean? Is there ever that in the back of your head? You know what I mean? Or vice versa, as the DM and player, the player causing chaos, and you're like, all right, I see what you're doing here. Just wait till I'm a player next time.
I don't know about Eric. I'll be honest; it's never crossed my mind.
It doesn't bother. Like I said, if anything, it just adds for me. Yeah. I'm just like, oh, this is great. I'm just, if Rusty was there, I just would have just sat back and just been like, let this play out. Okay, this is what happens. See what happens.
Learn from Eric. I pick up different things every time. I'm like, ooh, that's a good way to describe it. Or I like the way he indicated that whenever I walk into the room. Or, oh, that's a great thing to think about. Or like, ooh, you know what? I need to be more descriptive there. Or I'm not quite seeing the room. I got to remember to describe stuff like that to the guys. So I learn from Eric, but yeah, I never think about. I think about what I can do to mimic him and be better, but never attribution.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I figured, but I mean,
it's a good question. Now I might. Now that you brought it up, now I can think about it. But
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I think about it every time you tell me no as a DM. I'm like, oh, that fucker. You just wait.
You know what? I don't know if you're joking or serious about that, but every time I tell you no, I just hear that pause in your voice. I'm like, oh, good thing he's not a DM.
No, I could never be malicious like that. I would play it out how it's supposed to. But yeah, I was just curious.
You know what? I try to think it through. You know, what's the most rational? And you know, hey, was it a good argument? I can give you guys the benefit of the doubt whenever I'm doing it. That if it's a good argument. Hey,
yeah, same. If you can explain it away, okay, let's see how we can make this work, sort of thing.
Exactly. You know, within the realm of 5e, I try to keep it semi-realistic. You know, can it apply? Barry's not going to suddenly learn to fly, but if you can convince me while he's going to do a triple flip off the wall and then land on a guy's shoulders, great. I'm good with it. Let it play out. As you and Dice may will.
All right, so that brings the next question. How do you guys feel about that flavor that stuff like that adds? If you remember 3 sessions ago, well, three Gredhog sessions ago, I added a little flavor with Amrook jumping off of Griswold's back to do like a 180 flip and come down with the axe. How do you guys feel as DMs? Does that add flavor? Are you thinking about, well, that's not really possible? Like, what goes on?
No, I like the flavor. Like you have to think of um, as characters, as D&D characters, you're almost like superheroes in the realm of of Dungeons and Dragons. So you're able to do impossible things. Um, and if you look at just stat scores alone, the average person has 10s all the way down. Well, if you have an 18 in like dexterity, you're going to be able to do some shit that is like, okay, that's damn near impossible to do.
That's a good way to look at it.
So I'm cool.
I'm actually in the same boat. I love when you guys do that, and I try to encourage it, and that's why I try to bring a little bit whenever from a player to hopefully maybe inspire. I guess in my mind, whenever I'm DM, I've got a 3D world in front of me. I see everything around it, not just the floor, but everything that's in the room to interact with. I think sometimes it's too easy to, whenever we're looking at Roll20, to be in a 2D room. We kind of move vertically, like it's chess pieces. It's where everyone goes. You count your spaces. So whenever you add something like that that's vertical, I enjoy it. Whenever Ryan used Reed to climb the tree and just added that little bit of vertical aspect to it, you're starting to utilize the things around you a little bit more, which I haven't pushed it because, I mean, hey, we're all new players. We're all feeling this thing out. But I love whenever it naturally develops. It's a lot more fun to me and adds more dimension. And the flair like that, yeah, I think it makes it a lot more fun. I worry that you guys get bored sometimes. Move, fire, move, fire, move, fire. So how do we throw a little bit more flair? So even now, because I'm world building, I'm trying to build more vertical structures that you guys can utilize more and put more in the rooms.
I mean, we're not all playing a fighter, so I don't think everybody's bored. But
I mean, it's move fireball, or firebolt even, or fire the arrow. And that's each one can get redundant in a way, if you don't utilize all the resources around you. So I want to make sure everyone's staying interested.
and how do you
It's exciting. That's player.
What do you guys do in that split second you have when the player says I want Amrook to do this, I want Cleek to do this, do do you split second make the decision, okay, make a dex check, okay, make an athletics check, or do you sometimes just let it go because it's so easy that yeah, you could accomplish that?
I'll let Garrett go first.
Yeah, I let it go once in a while. If it's something that obviously you guys should take. I feel like early on I threw out a lot of dice rolls and I relied a little too heavily on it. And I don't want to pause the game every single time to roll. If I think there's any level of opportunity for things to go wrong or for you to not accomplish it, let's head to the dice. But if it's something that easy, I walk into the door. All right, I need to roll a dice for that, or I jump over the 1 foot ledge. Okay, we can do that too. If there's a chance for things to go wrong, or if there's a chance for failure, that's when I want the dice to really intervene with fate.
Just to follow up on that, does being out of combat affect that decision? Because if I think about it, Reed climbing the tree, no problem, no dice check, anything. But then some other flavor, I could see. So does out of combat versus in combat affect that decision?
Sometimes I thought I had him do a check on that, an athletics check for the tree.
I'd have to go back.
I set a really low DC with him. Maybe that's what it was. I was thinking it's a low DC because the tree. I'm picturing these things in my mind. When you tell me you're doing this, I've got this visual of the battlefield and where it's at. So I picture this massive tree, this oak, these big, thick holes on it, and I'm thinking, man, he's a little 2-foot sticks. That's naturally athletic. This thing is, there's not much you can do to not climb that tree. And even if he fails, he falls, has to climb again, or he makes noise. So it's like, all right, I think I had to make a stealth check. Maybe that's why I overruled it. And I thought, okay, being quiet to be for for him to be heard makes more sense than his ability to climb the tree. Instead of doing 2 rolls, let's do 1. And so I had him roll a stealth check.
Definitely roll a stealth check.
Okay, thank you. I forget in the moment. I make a decision in a split second, and then I move on and try to pick up what you guys are doing next. I visualize it and say, what are the challenges with this move? And I make a decision in a split second. And what's the bigger repercussion? It's easier for him to climb the tree than stay quiet and not be heard because he was trying to sneak up. So I defaulted there.
In your defense, there was a lot going on in that scene because Adrian was over there like describing to us what was going on. Warwick's over here like talking, having a conversation with Griswold. Reed's dropping balls on somebody's head, and of course, not Emerald. I forget. Atleen. Help me out.
Althea.
Althea,
yeah.
Althea had just held up her bow like, "What's up, guys?" And so all this is going on.
Yeah, that's where it gets fun. That's where it gets fun.
What about you, E? How do you do the roll checks for stuff like that?
So first off, I question. Okay, how does it impact the game? Is it is it a flair sort of thing, or is it like you're trying to gain advantage on something? So that's the first thing I tried to assess, and then at that point, if it's just kind of a flair sort of thing, I include that in your attack. Your attack roll. Maybe you want to do this cool little move. And you only rolled like 2 points over the AC. Well, you hit, but it's not as cool as you thought. But maybe if you roll like 10 points over the AC, you look like fucking Jackie Chan there, doing a somersault flip and cross into the, but like you were talking about, like with Reed and that instance, that's probably exactly how I would have felt that too. It's not in combat. But you're trying to be sneaky on purpose, and it's kind of it's not always a combat situational thing. Like if you're trying to be, so especially sneaky, that's a big one that can really go one way or the other. So that's something that I would definitely have rolled on. But I would have foregone the athletics check in that instance. Like you said, he's either that or been a really super low, like these.
And that's kind of where I was. And I think his athletic modifier might have even been higher if I remember checking quickly. And it's like, well, he can't. So it's either that one and he falls. Some value, but not a ton. So to slow down the game more than it would have brought value to it.
So in 3.5 edition, they had what was called take 10 or take 20, and it was you are purposely taking your time to do something. So you're automatically, instead of rolling a die, you're going to take a value of 10 and add your value. Take 20 would be you're going to super take your time, it might take you a good 4 minutes to get up that tree, as opposed to hurry up and scurrying up the tree, And that was you got a roll of a 20 and then adding your bonuses or whatever. So that's how I kind of fall back on that. So
makes sense. I kind of like that.
Yeah.
At least in your mind, if they specify they're taking their time, it's like saying I'm walking slowly and being stealthy.
Yeah.
It does give you an advantage.
Yeah. And then granted, there was times that you couldn't say, you couldn't claim that or whatever, like in the middle of combat or something like that. But
just the tree in the middle of combat, just slothing up there.
Yeah, I'm gonna take my time.
I was thinking the same exact thing. I wish we would have had that for Griswold coming down that rope. Like he should have just taken 20.
But in others, but you know what? In that case, there's a point of failure that could be detrimental one way or the other, and that's where something like that does, I think, come into play. You know.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, in the next session, as you guys prepare to go down the ladder, if you want to slowly take your time, I'll give you an automatic pass. It's gonna down the ladder.
No, I'm good. So
Yeah. That only gives 20 rounds of attack to anyone in the vicinity.
hold on, guys. Hold on. I'm almost down the ladder. Just wait. Just wait.
wait. 1 minute. 1 minute.
Yeah. So one
Oh
more
my God.
question before we go to the stats, and I was thinking about this one all week. This was the session in which we found out that a Goliath Paladin can cast Bless. How do you, as a DM, know that someone has an ability, or know that someone has, the ability to do something, and not like just for me, like I would be like, oh, just do this, oh, just use turn, you know what I mean? Just fucking use turn. How do you, as a DM, like hold that back?
For me, it's just I don't know. Years of experience, maybe. I don't know. It doesn't like Ashley. I this is probably what her. How many games has she played?
That's the third game?
Yeah.
Fourth, I guess. She did 2 with us, and she's done 2 elsewhere.
Yeah.
So, her fourth game.
And she's not played a spellcaster before. And this is her first time with a spellcaster. So I have no problem, stopping game and say, hey, if you do this, it might work out a little bit better for you. Whereas, okay, Griswold, Evan's played Griswold for a little while now.
A little over a year, we'll say.
Yeah, he should kind of know what he can do and can't do. So I would be totally, I might just say, hey, don't forget you have other spells. But I mean that's my take. It's you don't want to point out, hey, you should do this, but you also don't want them to not be sleeping on other abilities that they might not have. There's plenty of times, like even my other group who are seasoned players, I'll be like, hey, don't forget you have this aura where you add +2 to everybody's AC or something, it'll be, oh yeah. I mean, as you go up in level, it does. There's more things you have to remember. So I'm always about helping the players out, but also not giving away too much strategy.
By you, G.
Yeah, that's probably the best. No, Eric kind of hit the nail on the head. And for me personally, being a newer DM, in my head, I'm constantly either screaming at you guys or laughing at you guys. But I'm either these stupid fools. They can do this. Why wouldn't they do that? Or I'm like, you mother. Use it. So that's me in my head constantly trying to tell you guys what to do without directing you. And once in a while, it's really, if I feel like you're struggling or you've forgotten and haven't used something in a while, like, oh, are you applying that to it, or to do this, are you using this weapon? Oh, okay, yeah, my bad. I wasn't sure if you were. Occasionally I'll pick up a play. Oh yeah, I'm using that one.
Yeah.
So yeah, I try to throw those in there. But hey, at the same time, my goal is to create the environment and give you guys just a sandbox to play in. You guys can do whatever you want. You may have a reason, or you may as a sorcerer want to attack with a quarterstaff. Cool. So who am I to limit limit or push you to one direction or another? So like Eric said, I want to remind you sometimes you're not limited, and since we are all still relatively new players, it's easy to forget it's 5th and 6th level. Where we still got a lot of things being thrown at us for relatively new players, but at the same time, hey, it's a flexibility. You guys build the world out. I'm trying not to push in any individual direction. You guys have already shifted the campaign pretty heavily from some original plans with certain things, so that's great. The world shapes itself around you.
Yeah.
And the same with action and combat. I have no intentions of combat whenever we come in either. It is playing out as you guys make your decisions, and I just try to represent the characters as best they can, the enemies.
Nice.
It's tough. I'm always yelling at you guys in my head or laughing.
Screaming on the inside or laughing on the inside. So that's
Yep.
I need a couple of emojis to put up whenever I'm one or the other. You guys won't be able to see for our audience. Eric is currently angry.
we get if we get affiliate partner status, we get a couple of custom emojis we can create. Maybe we'll throw something together for something
nice.
like that. That would be good.
Eric's in a monologue. Eric is confused.
I might have to get a couple pictures of you guys, like with that angry face, with that confused face, with the laughing, and then I'll just draw you. Make you like a cartoon almost, and then we'll make those into emojis.
Yeah, right. That's pretty good. It's tough.
You got to do that.
Little face palm. Yeah, it's true. All right, so with that,
face palm.
Let's jump into the stats. Don't think you guys will be able to see them unless you have the stream on. Feel free to jump on that stream.
Yeah, no, I have the file open, but
I did it last time. I think I'll do the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did just confirm Griswold definitely has blessed. There were some questions there. It is definitive.
Oh no, Eric and I confirmed it on Monday. We discussed. Yeah. We looked at it. I felt a little bad the past Gredhog session because I felt like I kind of guided Siddle to take haste, and so that we had haste because I thought that would be a benefit to the Giant Slayer, to the utilization of the Giant Slayer weapon. And so that was kind of why I asked you guys, because like some of that is just I don't know what spells they have, and then as I learn the spells, it's kind of like, well, why haven't we been using that like this whole time? And so I was just curious you guys' take from the DM side how that works, but.
Yeah, I also had to give you guys time in between travel and stuff as you think of it, to inquire about those sort of things and learn each other a little bit more. And so that's why there's some slower periods in there too, where I almost have for some awkwardness for you guys to try to chat amongst your characters.
Yeah.
Because you, Carl, don't know what Rusty has unless you guys chat outside. But does Anrook know what Siddle has? Have they discussed that? Have you discussed that? Like Siddle, you've been reading a lot of books here recently. Learning anything interesting? That sort of thing. So that's why sometimes I do drag out the travel and or in between just to let things naturally out. Sometimes it brings out gold. Sometimes other things you can get into is just phenomenal, and other times it's like, all right, Garrett, move it along. Let's go, man. Let's hit the battle.
Yeah. No, you definitely see that as players as well. Like sometimes certain players will be like, "Fuck this travel shit. I wanna kill something." And then I feel like we're past, like a lot of us are past that point or on the edge of that point now. So I feel like you're gonna see a little change in the campaign. Where we are gonna question each other. Where we are going to be like, "Hey, don't you want to go to the library or something? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, we need you to get powerful. Go to the library. We need you." Yeah. So.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, Keegan came in and did phenomenal role play for his the third time that he was playing with us. He was right there, group up as his character would.
Keegan's fun. I would like to see him. I'm hoping that we can talk him into playing in this campaign if we do this again, just because I would enjoy that from a DM side.
Yeah. That's good. I'm glad he's not.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm not sure if he's in yet or not. I was in my game earlier. I didn't see him yet, but that could have changed. So.
Okay. Yeah, we'll find out.
Yeah. I wanted to get in there as well one day this week and add all the rest of the cleric spells. So I got to do that. So.
Yeah. Ashley needs more of her spells at that too, so I was going to go for and see if I can help her and more of her spells.
All right. So if we're looking at the stats,
listen, I just like to say before, Mordai tried really hard to do some damage. I like to think of him as a very powerful sorcerer with some cool things. This was not his week.
Mordai caused more chaos than he did damage. I will say that much.
Mm-hmm. No, but let's see.
Only 2 people killed this past. Is that right?
Oh, freaking months, man. Yeah. Well, you know what? That and You're the Dead, man. That
too.
You Barry got a couple kills from Toll the Dead.
Yeah, I'm trying to look at this. Oh, we don't have that one. Hold on. Tales from the Yawning Portal. Seem to be missing some stats, maybe. Anyway.
Where do you went there?
I only have 3
Which
kills
tab are you
for
on?
Cleek and 1 kill for Captain Jack.
No, I have 5 for Cleek, 4 for Jack, 2 for Barry.
Okay, so if I change it to
go
all,
to yeah. There you go.
Right. That's weird. It's not showing any more sessions there, or any more encounters, but they would be different. You know what I mean?
Oh, you know what? You know why? Because wait, which one is that killed? Which one are you on?
I'm on Yawning Portal stats.
Which tab are you on now?
Last encounter, latest. Okay, instead of
That's
encounters.
because I have it.
Got you.
Yeah, because I have it filtered this way.
Okay, cool. So we'll just jump into the all encounters. Was this Rescue of Emerald, huh? Okay, so if we look at that, I just wanted to see if we could see Mordai's stats. There it is. There's the big 1 point of damage right there. That round.
Look at. I like the graph. If you look at the graph all the way up to the right there, well, a little bit of blue, a little lightning.
A little bit of lightning.
A little bit of lightning.
Yeah. I highlight
very targeted.
All right, so we see he didn't get any kills. Oh, there it is. That little sliver right there. That was Mordai.
Right there.
I wish I could zoom in there.
Love you.
I mean, overall, you did 25 damage the entire campaign, or the last 3 sessions, and 19 of that was this past Rescue of Emerald session. So I mean, it's not that you didn't do damage. It just you know, that first encounter was just a little disheartening.
You had a couple of bad rolls.
That counterspell was.
That's a bad time.
That counterspell was huge.
That counterspell was very well played. I will say that much. So I mean, even though you didn't do damage, you know, that could still change the fight itself if you think about it. You know, 1 counterspell. Imagine if you were close enough to counterspell that fireball. You know, that's a big difference.
Yeah. Yeah, and who knew they were going to attack? Mordai didn't see it coming.
And if you also think about it, Inspiring Leader giving us 11 additional HP in multiple sessions, like that is, I feel like that should almost be healing, to be honest. Or is it? I guess it is.
I have it counted as healing. If you go to if you go to Mordai, I consider it 99 points of healing.
Yeah, I see that.
Nice.
11-point average. So I mean, that's healing for you, right?
Yeah. Listen, I'm just, I don't know how anyone can confuse the guy that runs and hides behind corners as not a meat shield, not the guy.
You did take off running through the middle of the battle, though.
Yeah, that's true. That is
for anyone to escape.
You were back,
So
like,
upset.
throwing stuff. You see him taking off, and you just bolt through the middle of everything.
It was on my watch.
You said, ah. And I do want to point out, if we look at cliques here, though, this is the, like, mind-blowing 234 damage.
Yeah.
If we look at just the rescue of Emerald, just that encounter, 143 points of damage.
I mean, he.
Point out the impressive part here is 14 of 15 hits.
Yeah.
One miss.
Yeah.
He has like a plus 9 to hit.
Months.
He has like a plus 9 to hit.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
You roll an 11, that's a modified 20. Like, it's what? I mean, he doesn't even need Bless. I don't even think I'm going to give him Bless as Barry anymore. Like, you just, like, you don't use it, so.
Although the Bless did come in handy a lot, too. I'm trying to remember. I wish there was a way I could mark, like, kills that or hits that Bless would affect. It's kind of hard to quantify that, I guess. But, yeah, like you said, like you were talking about, like, during the game, that is such an underrated spell.
If we could stress that a little bit more,
but,
Evan, if you're watching the stream, if we could stress that a little bit more, Bless is the most underrated. Don't worry, I won't bring it up to him in person, but... Who else?
So it's kind of I don't know if you look at the damage overview tab, this is a fun chart to look at.
Flurry of Blows was 27% of our total damage.
Yeah, but look at the second one. I'm told that that's an unutilized spell too, I think, sometimes, because especially when you're 5th level, that's 2d12. You got a possibility of 24 points of damage on a spell at 5th level. That's not normal. I mean,
it's not even a spell; it's a cantrip.
A wisdom save too.
Yeah.
Yeah, on a cantrip. Yeah, and it's against wisdom too. Most creatures don't have high wisdom.
Yeah, I was thinking about that, and I was also thinking, what if we added Bane in there with that? You know what I mean? Then you got even better chance to do that damage.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, I like the visual representation of this one. We might have to do something with the background. It's a little plain, but we can do something there with some images.
Yeah.
We'll spruce it up.
I like if you click on, like, Cleek's name, like in the left, top left.
Yeah, I'm looking for him. Cleek.
Graph. You can see the damage where he did most of his damage. I love that. That's so cool.
Yeah, he pretty much did all of the damage to Eternal Flame Guardian.
Yeah, those are the
3 warriors.
The guys. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you look at that, like he took care of it.
Yeah. And then Captain, he took that freaking priest out, which he was sitting on another fireball.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I was ready.
Yeah, he went mage armor, and then that next round, I was gonna queue up another fireball, because why the fuck not?
It makes me, like, think about playing other characters. So, like, the whole time we were doing this session, I'm like, man, what would I do here as Amrook? Amrook would just jump in, like, gritting his teeth, ready to throw down. You know what I mean? And you can't do that with everybody. So I just different play styles based on different characters. It's kind of cool to think about.
Yeah. Yeah, it was kind of fun to see Barry not actually get into melee right away. One of your characters not get into melee.
It was tough.
Threw me off there for a minute.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was expecting Mordai to run in and be the meat shield. I didn't know what to do.
That was right.
If we look at Mordai's damage, though, I just pulled that up. I don't know if you guys can see that. Your most damage, and I will point out, Keegan pointed this out to me, like it's based on random chance of rolling a die. But I do feel like over a long period, a larger sample size, I think you can narrow
Yeah,
down some
bigger
things.
sample size.
Yeah.
I think so too.
Mhm.
Yeah, so
Yeah, your stronger spells.
Yeah, so I mean, we have to take it as it is, with as a grain of salt as it is now. But I think eventually these stats will really flush things out for us. And, I mean, right now, Ray of Frost might be your most damage, but who knows what's going to happen, in 2 years.
But yeah, and even historically, Scorching Ray was much more powerful, and for that Witch Bolt, so I had 3 sessions and 3 different stronger spells. So it's a little dispersion.
You guys want to look at anything else? Initiative orders, killed creatures. You can see number
Yeah,
of
what we got
kills.
here? Oh yeah, this is.
You can see
So I mean,
who all
it's
Cleek
also too a
killed.
little. I mean, it's also a little bloated too because there's some, 0 level commoners. So those really really it doesn't count for too much, I don't think. But
I think we should get credit for the kills for each other when the 2 armies went at it.
yeah, right.
I think those are all Mordai's kills for sure.
Yeah.
Other armies, so he.
So pretend like there are 18 more kills on here for Mordai. There you go.
Yeah, that's a good point. Good point.
I like that.
Mordai.
I like that you have Steve down here. That cracks me up.
Poor Steve, he got killed.
When
I thought he did some damage though.
He definitely did damage. This isn't
A little bit. I saw.
Yeah, he did.
The damage screen. Steve did damage here. It was.
He did He did 2 points. He did 2 points of damage to the constrictor snake.
He is Barry's meat shield. So that's why Barry's kind of like playing it back. I was kicking myself because I did not use that whistle, and I meant to use the freaking whistle.
See, I forgot about it.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna have to think about using that whistle next humanoid that Cleek kills anyway. And then I can actually have 2 up the whole time if you think about it, because I have the 2 spells. I will have used 1 spell plus the whistle, and then the next day I'll just use both spells. So I'll have 2 meat shields up. I mean, Barry wants to build an army of undead, I'm pretty sure. He's going to have some spirit guardians running around. Yeah, Barry and his posse. I like
it. So is Barry going to change religions here soon, or is he sticking with his lightning god?
We did talk about it. You did offer, and I'm really debating on it. I feel bad though, like changing, because if I hadn't used my what do you call that? Domain. Sorry, I couldn't think of that. If I had my domain already, I would be like, oh yeah, no problem. But I feel like I did use it early on, and so I'm mixed feelings about it still.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see.
Maybe we can find a god that is maybe we can find a god that is the god of characters that have been electrocuted to death.
Maybe. Well, So then that we'll wrap it up with this final question. So E and I were talking the other day about like flushing out your character's backstory and stuff, and how that kind of evolves as you go, and then sometimes you come with a backstory and kind of develop your character around that backstory. So Garrett, this is your question. You
Okay.
are a player in this session. How did you work through Mordai? Like, are you still developing his backstory? Did you come with a backstory and throw the character into it? What is your process?
Very different than I thought it would be, actually. I thought I would have the backstory and develop the character, but I found in this case I very much developed the character, and the backstory has been coming together based on who he is. Now, part of that is because I've just spent most of the time developing the here and now. In the other campaign is DM, that like I haven't thought about the past so much as the what's going on now and what are the objectives moving forward. And so I focused a lot on what are the focuses right now? Like, what's everyone's objective? What's the purpose in life? But the backstory is now becoming clearer for me.
Yeah.
That's oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that's pretty much exactly what we said. But go
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah. That's that is a conundrum for years for me. Like, I would have a backstory written, and all of a sudden, I'm like, this isn't like how my character would play. This isn't anything like that. And so I have come to the like I'll have like a vague background, like Adrian's background. Um, but as we go, as we're playing, it's more of a okay, so Adrian acted this way, and okay, this is why he's acting this way. All right, this is how this is, and the whole thing with creating creating two characters that my just in case Plan B and C characters really fleshed out more of a background for Adrian without giving too much away to anybody else, because I think that's like I'm just sitting there like, okay, how would these two other characters actually come into this party? Oh, that's an idea. So then all of a sudden that plays into Adrian's background, and now I'm starting to have more of an idea for his background, where I have where he came from and how he got his start and all that, but there's the fine details. He was in Silvery Moon for how long? Was it just a year? Was it a couple years? Was it till he was 5 years old? Well, let's figure that out. So
Yeah, and so I look at it differently as a player versus a DM now too. Is as a player, I developed my character and I was fun, and now I'm developing the backstory to it. As the DM, I have wanted to know more about each of your characters.
yeah.
Like, I want to ingrain the lives into the story, since especially all the characters are from around where you're traveling. So I feel like there's so much there that we're not delving into. Like, you go into Silvery Moon, oh, there's things going on. I mean, there's a shopkeeper that Adrian had to have gotten into a fight with, or there's if you go to this place, he should know these woods really well. That you guys know a great little taco stand or something like that. I want to incorporate this in the story, so since it's there, and that way each character is kind of involved. And like with Fiddle's story, we don't know much yet, but that's an exciting one that you cross paths, or that Dildo's path. I know his path before. I kind of laid that out. I know where he is now, so I like that the random chance may allow you to intersect with these things that have occurred. At the same time, now being a player, it's like, ooh, you might not know this stuff, so I don't want to force it.
Yeah.
So I guess what I've tried to narrow it down to is like the one question and that your character should know the here and now is what is your character's purpose? What is his drive? We all have something we're trying to do. We're in the rat race. Person is us. You're in the rat race, or you're just floating. You're trying to get the next vacation, and you want to see the world. What are your characters trying to do? Why are they on the adventure? Why are they? And is it some revenge plot? Great. Then let's talk about what that revenge is, or who's the big bad in your life. Or is it just that you're trying to get away, or you're looking for an adventure? What is it? So that's what I try to incorporate now. So as DM, I don't need to know the whole backstory and flush it out, but why are you here? What are you trying to do?
So from my end, it's kind of funny because with Ashley starting, I actually have more of a background from a DM side. I have more of a player background development than like the rest of you, except for Cleek. The whole Cleek thing and the searching for the rod of 7 parts. So now I need to, as a DM, to try to incorporate everybody else's backstory into their current, into what else is going on. So it could be interesting. I mean, you might end up, well, you probably definitely will end up finding more out about this fire elemental worshippers, if you will, and what are they all about? What's this all about? So
That's why I love that. The multiple layers to the story.
Mhm.
It's not just linear. There are different things going on. That's the kind of world you want to build. There's never just one story
Yeah.
going on. Everyone has their own lives too.
Yeah.
All right. So with that, we'll go ahead and wrap up the session. Good stuff, guys. Anything
Yeah, this
anybody
was
wants to
fun. I
say
like this.
before we sign off?
No, just anybody out there that's watching, join us on Saturday. We'll be either playing Storm King's Thunder or back to Yawning Portal.
All right.
Looking forward to the next session, no matter which one it is.
Yeah, definitely. Either one, I'm good with.
All right. And as always, thanks for
Though
watching.